Yes, so I went to, okay, so before even USIU, I think I was first I was very moved with Rosheke's talk. Why? Because I totally believe in being yourself. That's the only way you will stand out. And the reason that's important to me is because I'm in an industry where what? My personality sells me. I am my business, but my business runs on my personality. And you can only fake it for so long. Yeah? So before even that, I went to, did anybody go to LCVR here? No? No one? Loreto Convent Valley Road? Nobody? Okay. So I went to LCVR for primary school, but in towards the end, when I was getting to class 7, my parents divorced. And it wasn't the best of situations, so I ended up moving to Botswana to do my high school there. And when I was in Botswana, I needed to figure out who I was. I was 12 years old starting high school. I needed to figure out who I was quickly. And because I was surrounded by people from different races, different sexualities, I mean, that was when I was getting to know something, gays and lesbians and all of these things. So I really had to figure out who I was. And I found myself through poetry. So when I came back home, I was 15, and my mom said I was too young to go to USIU because USIU had like, back in the day, I think things have changed. Back in the day, guys were like, it's only places where guys go to party and stuff like that because they didn't understand the system and how your classes can end on Thursday. You know, people just didn't get that. So I ended up going to St. Mary's. Anybody from Saints in that? Once a Saint, always a Saint. Yes. So I went to IB in St. Mary's. All of this will make sense at the end. I went to Saints when I was 15, kept writing my poetry. The Saints boys can be very harsh. Some of them used to tell me, your poetry is so simple. What the hell? And I just kept writing. And when I joined USIU, unfortunately, I went through an incident that was something I wouldn't wish on anybody, all right? I am a rape survivor, and I've never hid this from any places that I talk, or it's always been part of my story. Why? Because I believe if you're as genuine as you are, that's the best way to live your life. You wouldn't have to worry about putting on a mask in the morning or whatever, you just do you, right? And when that happened, again, I found solace in poetry, which was my passion and it was my comfort area. But in USIU, I joined certain clubs and I took courses. My late mom didn't realize that I lied to her about certain courses that I'd taken that same, but I'd taken about 3 poetry courses. One was poetry across cultures. And because my mom, as much as she was like, you know what, do you boo-boo, find yourself and all of that, but now I'm paying for you to do a course in poetry. 15,000 bob, are you joking? Yes, I had to lie about this, but I did it. And after that, I realized that I needed to make money from my passion, which was poetry. I don't know, do you guys love money? Yes. Personally, I've always had a love for money. So what I did, I was like, it's great to write poetry, and it's great at the time I had a blog, but it wasn't bringing in money. So on the net, I used to follow a lot of poets, especially in the States, and watch a lot of Def Jam poetry and stuff like that. I realized we didn't have open mic nights in Kenya, or in Nairobi at the time. So I started an open mic night where people would come and watch poetry, get to listen to spoken word, get to hear live music, and pay to enter. So it was really great. The first one was free. I didn't realize that I was actually building a business. The first one was free because I wanted you to see what you're going to be paying for next month. So I had different contacts that I had in the industry. We had people like Elami come and perform. We had people like Fena come and perform, Patricia Kihoro, Wendy Kimani, Nick Ndeda, who is my colleague now. And it grew and it grew, and I used the internet to market it because A, I wanted to keep all my profits, B, I did not have Safaricom's marketing budget. All I could afford to do was print my poster, right? That was it. And even the poster, the creating of the poster was done by me. I just went to Google and said how to make a poster for free. And I figured out how to do it, opened a Facebook group. There were no pages back when there were no pages, there was only Facebook groups, and you'd invite people. Obviously it started with my family members supporting the cause. And it grew and it grew into something so big that I was basically performing at gigs and performing my poetry. As much as I didn't really like, I realized later on, I didn't really like performing poetry, and I've stopped. I don't get a high from it. I feel like I have to simplify my poetry for guys in the audience to understand it. Then if you're performing in a bar, there's like a drunk in the back who's not even listening. You know, I don't like it. I prefer writing poetry, and that's what I found out later on. But you guys know 1FM. So when 1FM started, I was still in campus. I was in my third year, finishing my third year. And the programming head, who's called a programs controller, called me. His name is Tim Zioka. And he called me, and now I thought I was a celeb in the poetry circle. So I was like, yes, open mic, hosted by the design. And he called me, and he said, hi, I'm calling you from 1FM, we've just set up. And before he finished, I said, oh, you want to interview me for poetry? And he was like, no, we want you on our station. The funny thing is, in uni, I did a double major in psychology and journalism because I couldn't make up my mind which of the two I wanted. But in journalism, my concentration was PR. So I never stepped into any radio fields, right? So the only one time was, I don't know if it's the same in other universities, when you're about to graduate, you need a certain number of credits. And I didn't have enough, and I knew it would be beef at home. So I picked the quickest open class, and I picked it up because I needed those credits. And I went to the class. It was called integrated media. I thought it sounded fancy. I was like, whatever, let's do this. I just need this credit. And the lecturer said, you're going to do a radio bulletin, a TV bulletin, a print story, build a website, and put all of this on the website. I paid someone to build the website for me. I aligned myself with certain guys who had done TV and radio, and they helped me out. That was as close to radio as I got, yet I am in radio now. Anyway, so back in the day, USIU was Thika Road was too late. This guy has called me, 1FM officers are in town. I am in USIU. He says, can you come to the office in 20 minutes? I was like, yeah, of course, I can. Then I go, crap, I'm so far, and I've just promised a potential employer. But anyway, I got there, not in 20 minutes, but I got there, I spoke to him, and I was confident about myself, even though I knew I was walking in to foreign grounds. I had no idea about radio. And I spoke to my man and said, okay, fine, we want you on the Drive Show, you shall start practicing, and we shall start looking for a co-host for you. So I've never done a demo. Betty was talking about CVs. I've never given my CV to anybody, ever. I just seize opportunities and I make things work for me. At 1FM, we were starting off, so I don't know if now they have an SMS line, I should check. We did not have an SMS line, we did not have a phone line. All we had was a working internet connection. Yet at the same time, you're doing a peak time show and you have to compete with other radio stations that have all of these other things. How are you telling some guy in Bungoma to go to Facebook? He wants to SMS you. Yeah? So I started reading up about digital platforms, and this is something that I think you guys should take. Everything that you're doing, every passion that you have that could potentially be a side hustle, please translate it onto a digital platform in the most compelling way possible. Content is king, right? And right now the world is going digital. So if your content can be translated digitally, it's wins for you. So I was forced, baptism by fire, to know how to make social media work for me. I think Twitter became, the it thing while I was at 1FM. I learned what works for Facebook. I learned what works for Twitter and I made it work for my show. And 2 years in, and I remember when I started working at 1FM, I said, I'm just going to be here for 2 years. And then I'll see what will happen. But I'll work hard. I'll work hard and I will learn things. So even at the job, because remember, I didn't study radio, I would sit with the producers, so I knew how to produce the whole show. I'd sit even with the IT guys to understand the different programs that radio stations use. Because you never know the day that you'll be pulled off air. And before you're kicked out of the door, you say, by the way, I can also produce. And then they're like, oh, okay, calm. You know what I mean? You have to get all the skills that you can get from the environment that you're in. Don't lock yourself into like one bubble. So 2 years into I think 1.5 years into my job, I was very close with my mom. She was my best friend. She's the one who read my contracts. She said, no, go back, tell them to change this. Because I didn't know any of these things. And 1.5 years into my job at 1FM, she unfortunately passed away. So now I had to be alone and be quite jonjo about everything that was going on, And 6 months after she passed away, I got a call from, when I was going into studio, I got a call from a man called Pete Sinclair. And if any of you are going into journalism, please try and make Pete Sinclair your friend when you find out who he is. And he called me and he told me, listen, I'm calling you from Radio Africa, from KISS to be specific, and we would like you to come and work for us. I was walking into studio at 1FM. So I was like, listen, I can't talk now. Because if even they are hearing this conversation, I shall be fired now. So please, if you really have the best interest for me, hang up, we shall talk another time. And we carried the conversation for 6 months. Reason being, at 1FM, remember I say in the environment that you're in, you must use all opportunities to build yourself, right? So I made so many contacts with different African musicians, right? I'd made contacts from the DJ Cleo, who was like the it guy at that time, straight to Wizkid, to Banky W. I did not want to let go because those were assets to me. And I wanted to know where I was moving, that would still be my asset. Not that I'm moving to a station that we're only playing Chris Brown. Because me, I don't know Chris Brown. So please. So 6 months, I talked to kids on and off, until one day I was driving. Does anybody here pick unknown numbers? Like somebody calls you and you don't know? You guys pick? Yes, I used to ring up back in the day. Nowadays I pick. If I'm in studio, I'll send you an SMS. 90% of the time it's a musician trying to sell his music and I'm like, that was business. But Trukola was only showing me Kenya. So I was like, I ain't. And then I got an SMS that said, hi, it's Carla in Mutoko. Please call me back. And I was driving. So I pulled over and I was like, oh, it is you. Hi. You have to make up excuses like how busy you are. And that's when you're just staring at the phone. Ati Kenya. So I met her and I knew what I wanted from KISS. When I met her, I told her, listen, I know I'm not going to get the breakfast show because you're on the breakfast show. I know I'm not going to get the drive show because Shafi and Kanete were on the drive show at the time. They're doing a good job. Don't fix something that's not broken, right? But I want the mid-morning show. Don't put me on late night. And she was like, why would you want it? It's slow. It's not a peak time show. I was like, no. The top radio show in Africa right now is a mid-morning show on Beat FM in Nigeria. I want the mid-morning show. And that's how I got it. And it's the reason why you need to know your whys is like, is anybody here doing journalism or hoping to get into media or everybody's business? Okay. My industry can completely destroy you. It can completely destroy you. It can build you up to your highest high today and tomorrow completely destroy you, right? I don't need to give examples. In the media, we're seeing it happening, right? So you have to be, and I think this is the same for other fields, you have to really know what the heck you're going to be doing or why the heck you're in that industry. Because if you don't, it'll build you and it'll completely destroy you afterwards. More so, if you're 2 years into the game, you're walking into Radio Africa, you're interacting. I mean, I think the first person I met on my first day was Mina. And I had to, contain myself inside. I was like, oh my God, please, can I worship the ground? No, but you have to be very professional about things, right? I'm walking into a job where Caroline had been on air since 98. I was in class 4 in 98. Yeah. Shafi and Kalachi had been at KISS for 12 years then. I'm coming in with 2 years experience. If I mess up, I'm out. It's so easy to get rid of me, right? So I need to know, okay, what am I doing differently that these people are not doing? My stronghold is and was how I use the internet to build a brand. And so I continued. And I made myself very known in the company to help all the brands that we have develop digital strategies for themselves, right? I opened the platform for KISS. I sat with the guy developing the website. And this was not something my boss was paying me for. I needed to prove my worth. And I used the online platforms to grow my business, which is me. My business is my brand. To the point where in the 2014, in December 2014, I had goals. And this is something you guys can try and do because it works. I never ever thought it worked until 2014. My teachers used to tell it to me, my mom used to tell it to me, and I'll just be like, yeah. No, I'll just wing life. You have to sit down and write your goals and say, by the end of the year, this is where I want to be. And this is what I'm going to do to get there. And everything else will then align with my purpose and my journey. I decided I wanted to attract certain brands, all right? Because it's great to have a social media platform that you can make money on. And I know I'm Nevi Hoops, yeah? You can even host adverts on your page. Someone can pay you to put up a post. Someone can pay me to put a post on my Instagram. And it's good money. And if it aligns with my brand, I'm all for it. Because as I said, I love money, right? But it wasn't enough for me. I needed to work and align myself with companies that would have a long-term contract with me and companies that would help me leave a legacy. Because it's great to get 20,000 bob for a post, 10,000 bob for a tweet. But then what have you done? Like if you were to drop dead after that tweet, what have you left, And so I started doing and pushing my own projects. I have a No Means No project to help rape survivors get free therapy. And then I started Project She, which, to help people really, and women really, get, as I started off by saying, I work a lot with women, I work a lot with women and girls, just to get their confidence levels up. The reason I started with no funds, no office, no nothing, is because a very good friend of mine, Giuliani actually, he said, start with what you have. If you wait to have everything that you need, you'll never have it. It's like money. If you wait until, okay, when I have 100 G's, I'm going to start that business of skiing, what, you'll never have it. Because when you get the 100 G's, you're like, but if I had 200s, I would have started ABCD. You get the 200, if I had 5, what to do? You get what I mean? Yeah. So you have to start with what you have. And another capital that people don't really think about when they're starting projects or business or they're running things is the social contacts that you have. Those are powerful, and that's what networking is. Some young people go to networking events to try and get jobs. That's lacking ambition. To try and get jobs. You're trying to position yourself as a CEO somewhere at dinner. No. It's just make the contact. Just be in contact. Leave an impression. You never know how he can add value to your dream or to your project or to your business. All right? Totally lost my train of thoughts. But building, oh yeah, so 2014. And so I was very clear that by the end of 2015, and I wrote it down and posted it in my bedroom. So I have a wall on my bedroom that, okay, before it was just, I posted and then my landlord came and saw a bit of damage had happened to the wall, so I had to get a white board to post on that. And I posted it up there because I'd see it every day. And the good thing about that is if it's okay to disappoint someone else, they'll get over it. But if you disappoint yourself, it hits home. And every day shall be a reminder, I want to work with these certain brands. And I put in the work. In September 2015, Intel called me. And they say, listen, we have this thing, we're seeing what you're doing on the digital space. We want you to be the Kenyan brand ambassador. The reason why you want to be in a position where somebody calls you and you need to put in the work to be at that position is because when you go to the negotiating table, you have the lead. You know what I mean? It's not that you're begging them. It's them coming to you and now you can state your terms, all right? So that happened, I think a month after that, Guinness, which I do not drink, they tried to get me to drink at the launch party and I was just like, ah. They have an amazing campaign called Made of Black. I don't know if you guys have seen it. It's fantastic, and the ideologies behind it are amazing, and it's all about confidence and being you regardless of what people say. And they approached me and they said, we've never worked with a female brand and we want to work with you. And my first thing was that, listen, me I don't want to be seen holding Hamataini bottles because my grandmother will roll from Ugenya to Nairobi and head back to me. So please. But it was because of, they had never met me. All they had seen was the content I put online, which was very genuine content. Very, very genuine, but very structured as well. All right? And the online platforms are my marketing tool. They're my ads, you know, because my business is my brand. And after that, many other, what do you call this? Different, now I work with Beauty Click. I'm trying to see who has a weave here so I can pitch to them. But one thing I'd like to tell you guys is this. One is you're the average of the 4 people that you hang around with most. And I said this once in an interview, and it got me in trouble with people that I used to hang out with, because I used to hang out with losers. Honestly, I got to that point when I was like, if I could just get back to those years. Hey, even Bill Gates, he'll be looking up to me. It was all about living for the weekend and living from hand to mouth. But at the same time, I needed to be seen at certain places. I have no problem with anybody going out, all right? I love dancing. I can't do it, but I love to try and do it. But are you comfortable with that routine? I wasn't comfortable with going out every weekend. I wasn't comfortable with over drinking and all of those things. But I did it because I thought, that's what we're all doing. So, hey, let's all do it. But it was costing me money, right? And later on, when I started working is when I really started thinking about the money that I, squandered back in the day. The friends that I had, especially when my mom passed away, it really, makes you think hard and compartmentalize different people in your lives. And I realized I don't need those many friends. So even in the industry, I do not have friends. I keep telling my boss, I don't have friends. So even those concerts, I don't know who to go with because I do not have friends. And I keep it that way because I'm not here to make friends. My why does not include making friends. I've made all the friends I need to make. I'm tired. Now I'm good. Right? It's very important for you guys to know who you are because there'll be a lot of noise. There'll be a lot of noise. And the noise can be your parents. Right? The noise can be your friends, the person sitting right next to you. The noise can be your boss. The noise can be you. So you need to really be so self-aware that you're so aware of the journey that you're going on, that no noise distracts you. And other than that, the digital platform. The internet is more than just what's on your mind. Or has Facebook changed it to what are you feeling? Or something like that, yeah? So if you sign up as what's on your mind, you know, it's more than that, guys. It's more than that. You guys, if you do your digital strategies for yourself and make yourself a brand, you could have my job if you do it right. But it's more, it takes much more than that. You have to discover, okay, this is my passion. So my passion is what? Poetry, radio, African music, women empowerment, digital literacy. So my pages are going to be churning out that content in a compelling way, right? You are sitting in a country that has such easy internet access, cheaper than most countries, but you're using it to tell others how you're feeling. When it could be making you some good money on the side. A tweet can go for 10,000 bob. One tweet. And as your numbers go up, you can double that. And if you have to attach a picture, you can double that. And if it's an appearance, it increases. Because you are living in a time where you can be your business. And it's all about a click away. It's a click away. And all from your phone. Right? So you really need to start thinking about what your passion is. And it doesn't matter if you haven't found your passion. You can use your pages to to show that journey of you discovering what you like, right? To sell a certain human experience. And there are classes online, there's online tutorials on YouTube that will teach you how to have compelling content for different platforms, from Instagram to Snapchat to Twitter to Facebook to YouTube itself, and how to monetize it as well. On top of that, you've got to invest in yourself, right? As a personal brand, I forgot that for quite a while because I don't like spending money on things that I can do for myself. Again, I told you guys, I love my money. So I'm not gonna give it to you if I know how to do what it is you're trying to tell me you're going to do for me, right? But you've got to invest in yourself, and for me, it has been, okay, I need to hire a publicist because I think I can do it myself. And maybe I'll even take your job after I'm done, you know? But you've also got to invest in yourself. So whatever money you make, it feels so good to make it rain. So good. It feels so good, especially after you've worked so hard for that money. It feels amazing to make it rain. But please make it rain back into your business, back into your brand, because that's how you generate the income. You know what I mean? That's how you get your profits to the next level, right? And lastly, I think just take opportunities. There's never been a better time for a young person in Kenya than now. Why? Because when my mom was going to uni, let me start with my grandma. My grandmother and grandfather, when they finished high school, it was either of two things. You're either going to be a doctor or you're going to be a teacher. Choose. Choose, right? And that's what they did. Both teachers. When my mom was going to uni, it was first high school. Please try and get into Alliance. Do not shame the family name. She did it. Okay, now that you've done that, we need to be law, accounting, doctor, teacher. Which of the ones are most appealing to you? So she went with accountants, right? As much as she was a very creative person, very artistic, but those were her options there. When I was going to campus, I didn't know whether I wanted to do journalism or psychology. I had the choice to do both. Right now, I know this is called Campus Edition, but you don't even need to go to campus. There's such big firms, if you read on the internet, that have removed having a degree as a prerequisite for them to, hire you. They removed it. It's easier now for you guys to set up a company than it was when I was registering my name. It was hard. It wasn't as transparent as now. I remember the guy who was helping me kept asking me, when are you taking me for tea? And I never got it. Because I'm very naive and I was just like, what is this guy's fascination with tea? Like, I know it's Kenya and I know tea is amazing, but yo, you cannot be asking me for tea every day. And that prolonged my whole process because I didn't even know what this guy was talking about. Until I told my mom, I was like, what's this tea? And it was very hard. It was back and forth, and especially for me because I was registering before I even knew what I was going to do. I just knew, okay, I'm using Adelle Onyango. I don't know where it's going, but I want it to be mine. All right? You've got to think of yourself, and in the digital world, you can get lost in enjoying the lack of structure. But please let there be structure for yourself. Get branded. Get yourself business cards. Get yourselves have your website. You can build your own website right now because you don't need anything too fancy to begin with. Have your invoices right with your logos and everything. Have that done. That traditional stuff, have it done to complement the online stuff, right? And just be you. It's gotten me this far. 4.5 years in, just be you.